Some relationships end with a breakup, others end with someone walking away forever, but this one ended with a single gunshot, and a question that still leaves people asking, why? Tonight, we're looking at the final hours of Kelsey Elem's life, the relationship that investigators say turned violent, and the evidence that led police to charge the man she had been seeing with her murder. This story takes us to Affton, Missouri, where one late-night argument changed several lives in a matter of seconds. Like every case has a moment when everything could have gone differently. For Kelsey, that moment never came. Kelsey Elem was 25 years old and known by the people around her as someone who made time for others. Friends and relatives remembered her as caring, outspoken, and generous, the kind of person who noticed someone in need instead of walking past them. She worked as a certified nursing assistant, spent time modeling, and openly embraced who she was. Years earlier, she celebrated updating her legal documents to reflect her identity, a milestone that meant a great deal to her after a long personal journey. The people who loved Kelsey say she wanted to live honestly. She wasn't interested in pretending to be someone else just to make other people comfortable. That part of her personality would become important as investigators worked to understand the relationship she was in before her death. At some point, Kelsey began dating 21-year-old Martino Lewis. Police later confirmed they were involved in a romantic relationship. People close to them described the relationship as difficult, saying the couple had experienced repeated disagreements before that April night. Those closest to Kelsey believe the relationship had become increasingly stressful, although only the people inside it knew every conversation that had taken place. Anyways, relationships can survive disagreements, but they cannot survive violence. According to investigators, everything reached a breaking point on the night of April 24, 2025. Inside Kelsey's home on Grace Avenue, an argument broke out between the couple. Court documents later stated that Lewis struck Kelsey in the mouth during the confrontation, leaving her bleeding. Someone else inside the home witnessed what was happening. Fearing the situation was getting worse, that witness called 911 while the argument continued. Think about that for a second. Before officers had even arrived, someone inside the house had already decided the situation was serious enough to ask for emergency help. That decision would become one of the most important moments in the investigation. While the dispatcher remained on the line, the witness suddenly heard a gunshot. Moments later, investigators say Martino Lewis ran from the house, got into Kelsey's vehicle, and drove away before police reached the scene. Officers and paramedics responded as quickly as they could, but Kelsey had suffered a gunshot wound and was rushed to the hospital. Despite every effort to save her, she died from her injuries. Just like that, a relationship that had already been under strain became a homicide investigation, and for Kelsey's family, the nightmare was only beginning. Before detectives had even pieced together exactly what happened inside that house, the people who loved Kelsey were desperately searching for answers, trying to understand how an ordinary evening had turned into the worst phone call they would ever receive. News of Kelsey's death spread quickly, but for the people closest to her, the facts came slowly. Family members were left piecing together information through phone calls, social media, and conversations with detectives. The shock was overwhelming. They knew she had been having problems in the relationship, but no one expected those problems to end with her losing her life.
First on Fox, a man is in jail tonight after being charged in the deadly shooting of a young woman in Affton. Family members are speaking out about their heartbreaking loss as the investigation unfolds. Fox News' Kelly Hoskins has more on the heartbreaking details.
My daughter was so amazing. She didn't deserve to be where she at right now.
Calvina Brooks says a family's worst nightmare is now their reality as she mourns the loss of her daughter, 25-year-old Kelsey Elem. Brooks says her daughter was full of life, now gone after a deadly act of violence. St. Louis County Police say 21-year-old Martino Lewis is charged with second-degree murder, armed criminal action, and domestic assault in connection with the death of Elem. Investigators say just after 11 p.m. last week, Lewis and Elem, who were in a dating relationship, got into a violent argument inside a home in the 5800 block of Grace Avenue in Affton. Charging documents reveal eyewitnesses overheard the fight and saw Lewis punch Elem, causing her to bleed. Moments later, police say a gunshot rang out.
My baby was taken away from me by a young man, supposed to have been her friend that she was taking care of, that she had so much, she wasn't in love or none of that. It was just about the heart and the care that she was trying to support him and help him.
Family members say Elem was a strong advocate for the transgender community and known for her kindness to strangers. The family says that Elem did not have life insurance, and a GoFundMe page has been set up to cover funeral expenses.
I'm asking everybody that could try to help with her being buried right. I really appreciate it because she don't have any insurance or anything. I mean, she just was a wonderful, wonderful person. She loved everyone. She brought out the transgenders, but she showed them and opened them up to let them know that someone out here loved all of you all.
My son got killed in 2018 and Kelsey never left my side. So that's why I'm trying to do everything I can to help, because I know how I feel and I know what she's going through right now.
For more information about the GoFundMe page, you can download our news app. Kelly Hoskins, Fox 2 News.
Fighting for family. A tragic shooting leaves one woman dead. Now her loved ones are keeping her name alive.
She was my world, my best friend.
It's still like a shocking to me, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm still like I'm in a dream.
Good evening, I'm Robert Townsend. Tonight, a man is in jail after being charged in a deadly domestic disturbance in Affton. He's accused of killing a woman police say he was dating. New tonight, 5 on Your Side's Annie Kroll spoke with the victim's family about the legacy they know she's already leaving behind.
It's still like a shocking to me, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm still like I'm in a dream.
The new reality for Calvinita Brock after losing her youngest daughter, Kelsey Elem. St. Louis County Police say just after 11 p.m. on Thursday, a fight between 21-year-old Martino Lewis and a woman he was in a romantic relationship with broke out in the 5800 block of Grace Avenue. Charging documents say an eyewitness overheard an argument on Thursday night, but it was Kelsey's family who says that escalated into the man they call Tino punching Kelsey so badly in the mouth she started bleeding.
They always been arguing for some reason. I always stayed into it because my baby was she's a legend, she was trying to do her things, but this was one that she was always supporting, taking care of, helping. This a dude that she was doing all this stuff for, and this is what you did?
Right.
Documents say Kelsey was afraid Lewis was going to get her gun and asked a witness to call police. While he was on with 911, he heard a gunshot and saw Lewis run out of the house to drive away in Kelsey's car. Less than 48 hours later, Brock, who said the two were close friends, had to clean out the home her daughter was killed in.
All that blood and brains and whatever that's in her room, that was wow. That wasn't nothing about drop on the floor.
No.
Nothing.
Zoria Moten emphasizing how amazing her older sister was.
She can light up the room. She very playful. She funny. She outspoken. I can describe Kelsey in so many ways. She was just a light. She was my world, my best friend.
Family said she was an advocate for the transgender community and was a consistent friend to strangers.
She'll take her shoes off her feet and get to a person.
Do it plenty of times.
You know,
every time we ride past the homeless, she always give everybody $1. She makes sure you hungry. She just one of them type of persons that always looked out for everybody.
Annie Kroll, 5 on Your Side.
Now, if you'd like to help the family pay for funeral expenses, you can find a link to donate to their GoFundMe page in the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com. The service is scheduled for May 9th. Lewis is being held tonight on a $400,000 bond.
As investigators secured the home, they began documenting the scene and interviewing the witness who had called 911. That call became one of the most important pieces of evidence because it captured the moments leading up to the shooting. According to charging documents, the witness described Lewis punching Kelsey before the gunshot was heard. Investigators also learned that Lewis had left the scene in Kelsey's own vehicle. It didn't take long for officers to locate him. Police arrested Martino Lewis and later announced charges of second-degree murder, armed criminal action, and third-degree domestic assault. The investigation moved quickly, but nothing about it made the loss easier for Kelsey's family. Imagine being asked to accept that someone you spoke to just hours earlier was suddenly gone. That's the reality they were facing. Family members described Kelsey as someone who constantly showed kindness to other people. They remembered how she would stop to help strangers, support friends through difficult times, and make people feel accepted. One family friend shared that after losing her own son years earlier, Kelsey stayed by her side and continued checking on her when many others had moved on. Stories like that painted a picture of someone whose impact reached far beyond her own family. As preparations for Kelsey's funeral began, another painful reality surfaced. Her family revealed she did not have life insurance, forcing them to seek community support to help cover funeral expenses. Even while grieving, they found themselves dealing with financial pressure no family ever wants to face after losing someone they love. Moving on, detectives continued organizing witness statements, forensic evidence, and the timeline of events inside the home. Every piece helped prosecutors build the case they would eventually present in court. For Kelsey's loved ones, however, no document or arrest announcement could answer the one question they kept asking themselves: how did an argument become a fatal shooting? That question would follow them into the courtroom, where the legal process was only beginning. Prosecutors formally charged Martino Lewis with second-degree murder, armed criminal action, and third-degree domestic assault in connection with Kelsey Elem's death. A judge ordered that he be held on a substantial cash bond while the case moved through the court system. From that point forward, the courtroom's role was not to tell Kelsey's entire story, but to determine whether the evidence proved the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. The legal proceedings remain part of the public record, and like many homicide cases, they continue through the justice system. Outside the courthouse, Kelsey's family focused on something different. They wanted people to remember who she was before her name appeared in headlines. They remembered her smile, her humor, her willingness to help people, and the way she made others feel seen. Those memories became far more important than any court filing could ever be. Friends described her as someone who lived openly and encouraged others to do the same. She had goals, plans, and people who expected to keep making memories with her. Instead, they were left planning a funeral. But hey, that's one of the hardest parts about cases like this. The headlines usually focus on the crime, while the people left behind spend years learning how to live with the loss. Kelsey's death also renewed conversations about intimate partner violence and the risks faced by transgender women, particularly Black transgender women who experience disproportionately high rates of violence. Her story became part of a much larger discussion about recognizing warning signs, supporting people in unhealthy relationships, and taking threats seriously before they become tragedies. Those conversations cannot change what happened on Grace Avenue, but they may help prevent another family from receiving the kind of phone call that changed Kelsey's forever. In the end, this case is about more than one night. It's about a young woman remembered for her compassion, a family still carrying unimaginable grief, and a criminal case that continues through the legal system. However viewers interpret the evidence, one fact remains unchanged. Kelsey Elem lost her life at just 25 years old, and the people who loved her continue to carry her memory forward. That's why stories like hers deserve to be told carefully, truthfully, and with respect, not simply for what happened, but for the life that was taken far too soon. And if one person recognizes the warning signs of violence after hearing Kelsey's story, her legacy may continue to protect others long after the headlines have faded. Make sure you subscribe to Fable of Crime if you want to see more real-life stories like this, cases that show what really happens when love turns deadly. Drop a like if this video made you stop and think, leave a comment to share your thoughts, and share this with your people so they can stay aware too. We're telling these stories to remember the victims, to keep their voices alive, and to make sure the lessons don't get lost.